Hello, I am CrazyCat648, or you can call me Grace. Today we are going to be building a windmill. Don't mind the jungle over there. I wanted to do on this meadow here. It's pretty messy, but it's gonna be a mill, windmill for wheat and stuff, and so it's gonna have lots of big wheat fields. Alrighty, I have put you on time-lapse. My player model did glitch out while I was filming this in flashback. So instead of me moving around and doing the world edit, I'm kind of just frozen there. It looks a bit weird. But that was not intentional. That just happened, and I only just noticed as I was editing it. But here I am cleaning up the hill area. I was originally going to get rid of this hill I'm modifying, but I realized that's a really good basis for where I should put the windmill. And I'm just standing there. Anyways, I'm just adding like the spheres and using the sphere brush and the cylinder brush. It's either a circle or a cylinder, and I'm just brushing that. And then I started working on this. I covered the entire ravine, made it to a valley, and then over here I made a pond. You'll see it a little bit better, or a little bit later. It looks better. And then I just started fixing around. I had to cut up some of the parts, or else this video would have been too long. And so you don't see every step of the process I made here. I spent like 45 minutes on the entire terraforming hill area. And so if I actually spent multiple hours if you include the wheat field I built. So chopping all the rest of it out probably saves you guys a lot of time. And then here I started using some kind of technique I made where I build like the top of the hill and then I start working my way down and up to get to the top. It just makes terraforming look more natural because actually it has an actual base to connect to. I'm stuttering a lot today. And then I just kept adding layers. Not much to it, just makes it easier on myself and stuff. And it's just, I started moving it towards the edges, and I probably look so goofy. I'm just a little.
Let's get started.
My player's just there sitting, and it doesn't even look like I'm doing anything. And just adding it, making it smoother, because before it kind of made, like, when you look at a hill, it's got like waves in it, and when you it didn't look right, and so I just was making it look like a real life hill, and they're much more natural looking. So that was my thought process, is always to make it look more cohesive to real life. Because the way your brain works is when it looks more like real life, your brain just makes it look more appealing. Like when something like a rubber ball squishes it in animation, it makes it look more squishy and real, and it's just how your brain works. Yes, I'm always thinking about psychology when I'm building. And so I'm just adding it. When I was building it, it kind of looked like a plateau. And so I did end up making it a bit rounder on the sides. I keep like teleporting around. I don't know why. Hit my mic. I don't know why it didn't work properly, but it just didn't. Oh, I teleported again. And then I did do shaders for this video because I thought they would look nice. Oh, and here, I turned off my flashback recording and I built the frame and the roof of the windmill. It looks like a snowman. But I didn't unpause my flashback, and so all you see is this. So it was a pretty boring part of the video anyway, but that's why I couldn't post it last week, is because I was wrestling with the files a lot, and I was building my website. And so here I'm just filling out the walls and the pillars, finishing up the roofs, and doing all the fun stuff in the build. Here it was a bit less on the windmill and more on the entire build. I built a giant wheat field. later in the video and pathway and different things. And I did make this into a house. Traditional windmills have like a kind of like a pole in the center that connects to a mill to grind wheat and different like barley kind of things. But I didn't do that here because it just wouldn't have any room for anything else, and it's kind of like a thinner one. And so instead I just made it into like a medieval style, cottage style house on the inside. And for this top one here, I was I didn't know exactly what kind of block palette to use, so later in the video you'll see me using World Edit to change it out with stone and switch out the blocks and stuff. It's in this step it's always my favorite because I get to play with this, but this part was just giving me so much trouble. And then the purple there, I did switch out that wool for wood, logs in a few minutes. So here I'm using World Edit to switch out to see which one I liked. I did end up going for the white one because the stone looked too much like the bottom layer and I didn't want to repeat it. I wanted to make it look more original. The roof I'm a bit proud of. On this one, I usually don't do like towers and windmills kind of thing. And then here I started adding the windows. I made this like really cool camera movement to display me filling in all the windows. Hope you like it. And then on the bottom I did make it glass, and on the upper I did make it fence. And here it cuts, and I'm making the trail pathway, and I'm just thickening out the pathway blocks, adding mud, moss, and other stuff. And the mud really matches the brick, or else I would have done coarse dirt. Coarse dirt and moss look really good because like the coarse dirt is like dirt on the edge of the pathway, but the mud really like ties it together, especially with the mud bricks I add later to texture it. And then yeah, here's some mud bricks. I always get my hoe myself. And then here I'm just adding some moss and reshaping the pathway a little bit. Because even just like a little bit of work to put into the pathway makes it look like 100 times better. I mean, I'm not even completely finished, but you can tell it's got a bit more structure and character and story to it. Like this is a pathway that is used a lot and gets dirty and is overgrown and older. And then here I started placing some frog lights around. Not today, but in this challenge I kind of made it where I wasn't going to use like light blocks and creative stuff, and I'm trying to make it more survival friendly so people can build it themselves. And so I also really like the way that frog lights look under moss carpet, so I made like kind of like clumps of moss around the pathway with moss carpet underneath, so it gave like ambient lighting, but it wasn't just like torches where it's just like you see like torches. It's like frog lights are just to me, they just look better. And then here I am started building the fan for it. I originally was planning to put like that cobblestone ring behind it. And then I did do another flashback recording because I had to go for the night. And I forgot to set it up, and so here's the completed fan. I didn't have the other recording where I actually like started building it, but here it's got like the Dutch kind of inspired fan, so it's got like all the fences and the wood, and then in the background I did start building like these like little lamps with glowberries, and then I built the wheat field. That wheat field, I didn't realize I could use World Edit to replace all that dirt with farmland, and so I just started building it for hours by hand. And I do have the footage of that, but I'm sure nobody wants to see that. And then here I am placing fences and railings. I'm using a mud brick wall, spruce fence, and spruce gates to make it look nice. And then I'm fixing the pathway because there's frog lights underneath. And then I've got the entire wheat field. It looks a lot better instead of just like a plain looking hill. It's got a wheat field. It's got more character and more story. It's something I'm working on, is like adding more story to my builds, more character. It's like what kind of person lives here, different stuff. And so what I'm thinking for this is like there's like a kind old farmer who lives in a rundown mill and uses the wheat field, and he doesn't use the mill anymore, but he ships off the wheat, and it's very nice. I really do like these lamp designs, just looking at them in the recording. And then I found on a Mog Swamp live stream where he took these yellow glass panes, candles, and bamboo fence to make kind of like reeds or taller wheat. And then over here, you'll see in a few seconds, I start building like a wheat kind of storage pen towards the house. It kind of looked very plain there, and so I just added some bamboo, mosaic bamboo, hay bales, spruce signs, campfires, the mud walls, the spruce gates, and spruce fences to make a pen. So here I started building it out. The hill was giving me a bit of trouble on like how to design it. And then so here I'm just like I ended up destroying those reeds. And then I put in some lanterns too. I put in the hay bales and started mixing it with the bamboo. Because I'm super excited for the new sulfur cave drop just because of the sulfur, and I get to texture the bamboo and the hay bales and stuff a bit more. And the cinnabar for the same with mangrove. Because those blocks they don't have that many yellow blocks are in the same kind of spectrum of colors. And then I started outlining the entire field with all the reeds. It took me a while, but it looks a lot better with it because it's like the hill just kind of like disappears, but then having that, it kind of makes it blend more into the environment, if that makes sense. I don't know how long that took. I'm pretty sure it took me like half an hour, 45 minutes, but time is everything. And even though my time was probably better well spent with doing other stuff, that made it look over the top. I would have sped this up more if I could, but the editing software I use, LumaFusion, only allows 6 times speed. And I don't know how to use the flashback how I want to, where it gives time lapses, so we're just gonna wait here. Anyways, in I believe 2 weeks, I'm going to be posting a Q&A video. So if you want to be in that video, you can post your questions, and I will see them, I will read them, I will talk about myself, and do stuff. And I opened an online website to sell merch called wildflowermerch.shop, and I sell t-shirts, hoodies, stickers, candles, and other stuff that I hand drew with my iPad, and I love it. I only have like 110 subscribers, but I want to make a merch shop anyway, even though I probably don't have many people who can actually like purchase stuff. But it's amazing. Alright, I cut out a few parts and it looks like we're all good now. And so here I started making some bundles of like hay and like stacks. And so I placed some campfires around to look like logs. I added some signs. And then I looked up on Pinterest like a hay bale wagon build, and I built that on the opposite side of the trail. And I think it turned out really good. It has like some slabs and stuff. Like, I don't have whoever built it, but I found that on Pinterest. I didn't just come up with that myself. Just to give credit to the owner. I don't know who you are, but good job, I guess. Okay, here is one of my favorite parts so far. I started working on the inside. I wanted it to be a mix of like medieval, cottage, Dutch, and so I made a darker floor with deep slate, cobbled deep slate bricks, cracked deep slate bricks, And then I made a ladder with some spruce shelves and spruce trapdoors. And I started working on like countertops with some slabs, some trapdoors. And I originally wanted to do like a copper, kind of Swedish inspired stove oven, but the way I designed it was too big. And so I did make it into dark oak, even though that's usually a wood, as you would think of it. And I added some shelves up there above the counter, and then here in building it out. I really like the design I made. It's just, it looked too bright and new for the environment. And then I used acacia. Oh, shoot. I just realized as I'm watching over this and doing the voiceover that I forgot to make a chimney for this, so that smoke doesn't go anywhere. Shoot. Anyways, that's just a me problem. That really isn't necessary, but I'll have to remember that in the future. Oh, that fire sounds really cool when it's sped up. I've got this on like 6 times speed. And then I started placing some stuff on the shelves, and I made like a carpet design with the spruce and the wool. And then there's like a sink cauldron. And then I made a cutting board with rabbit on it with a item frame, a cooked rabbit, and a pressure plate. You can't do that on Bedrock, but I love to do on Java. And I noticed there was a lot of rabbits around the meadow, and so that's why I did rabbit. You probably took advantage of the skippers. No, as in people. The rabbits around the club. And then this space was really tiny here, and so I made it into a bedroom, reading nook area. And so it's just small. It's got some bookshelves. Yeah, that's what I remember. And up here I made a storage room with some chest barrels, trapdoors, campfires, and some lanterns, chains, and then frog lights under the moss. And I'm a little bit ahead of myself. I didn't quite do it, but I just started lighting it up.